I made $5,500 today day trading in the stock market. And in today's video, I'm going to break down exactly how I made that amount, what my game plan was, what my risk management was, how I found the trades that I took, and in general, my thought process as I was trading today. So let's hop right into the video. And first, I'm going to go ahead and log into my TD Ameritrade website. That is the broker that I trade with. I trade on Thinkorswim. And as you can see, we made about $5,490 today, which is 2.7% of my account. So really happy with the result today. It's been a really dead trading environment for the past couple months, but I happened to catch some amazing trades today. So let's hop into the exact trades that I took and the stocks that I traded. So the stock that made me all the money today was NIO or NEO. And this was actually on my morning watch list. And to preface this, my morning watch list, whenever I create it, it's comprised of stocks that had overnight gaps. And an overnight gap is basically a change in price that occurs overnight. So there's a difference in price between yesterday's closing price and today's opening price. So if a stock closes at $10 yesterday, but it's opening at $13 today, that's a $3 gap. And gaps, they actually literally leave gaps in the chart. We'll show you in a second. But these gaps, they generate a lot of momentum and volatility for the stock on the day of the gap. And they occur because of news events, because of earnings, or any number of reasons. And I have a very special criteria that I use to analyze and evaluate the gaps that I'm looking at before the market opens. And don't worry, I'm going to make other YouTube videos regarding how to read gaps and how to find, tier 1 or tier 2 gaps that are really, really great to trade, especially in the morning. So don't worry, make sure you subscribe if you want to check out those videos. But in the morning, I noticed NEO was gapping. And I always look at the daily chart first when I'm reading the gaps. And that's how I create my watch list every morning. I just find all the best gaps, throw it on my watch list, and then throughout the day, throughout the morning, I monitor all those stocks and try to find really high quality trading patterns or trading setups. So that's exactly what happened with NEO. I noticed on the daily chart, we were gapping today. As you could see, you could literally see the gap in the chart. So yesterday we closed at 1036 about, and today we opened, the opening price was 955. And this was a really great gap for a couple of reasons. Number one, you could see we have that declining 20-day moving average, which is bearish. You could see how well price has respected the 20. We have that flat 200-day moving average, and you can kind of see the candlesticks being squeezed between the two. And that's called I call it a squeeze play, but the squeeze play kind of occurred actually through a gap. So as soon as I saw that, that made me interested. Plus, we have a consolidation. We're also gapping beneath a support level, right? If you go here, we're gapping right underneath this prior pivot, this pivot right here. And I knew the next support level was down here. So I knew that NEO had plenty of room to run because it had no support after this pivot. So there was a number of really great qualities about this gap, and I knew that I had to watch it. I also have traded NEO in the past. I know NEO is super liquid. It does a lot of volume, and as you can see today, did tons of volume today. So I saw the NEO gap, and I monitored it, throughout the day. So let's go ahead and go to the smaller time frames. And before we do that, just want to emphasize the daily gap, or the gap on the daily chart, it gives me a bias for what that stock is going to do for the day. And then I try to find a setup to trade that bias, right? So in this case, NEO, the bias was that it's bearish and it's likely to move lower. My job now, when the stock market opens and throughout the day, is to find that trading setup that is high quality that I can hop into. So let's go to the 15-minute chart. Let's go ahead and remove that circle. And the main setup that I first found on NEO was this 15-minute base breakdown. So we moved lower, we started to base, and then you could see this kind of a topping tail right here. And this topping tail, whenever you have a topping tail, where all that means is just you have a wick that's kind of, protruding at the top of the candlestick. Whenever you have a topping tail, it suggests that the sellers took control, meaning the buyers tried to bring it up, but then the sellers brought it back down. That's a bearish sign. So I saw that. I saw that we had a consolidation. So I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and try to play this as a breakdown. So I did. Worked extremely well. There was another breakdown. Let's go to the 5-minute time frame. So there was also another breakdown that occurred right here. Okay, on the 5-minute chart, we had a really tight consolidation and generated a really nice move after that. So, and there was also a bunch of trades, for example, down here as well and down here that I just hopped into. So, really amazing Neo. This was my thought process. I saw a bunch of base breakdowns. I saw a bunch of consolidations. I knew that the gap, the daily gap that we talked about was super bearish. So for me, I just kept trying to find a way to get into it short, especially on a consolidation or a pullback. I shorted it right here as well. And I actually flipped it a couple times where I remember during this rally here, this pop, where we had a nice drop and then we kind of bounced a bit. I actually played it long during that bounce. And the way that I executed my trades for Neo was based off reading the order flow. It's called level 2 data. I'm going to show a picture up on the screen right now. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to record the level 2 and how it moves, but this picture should provide you some insight. You could see on the right, we have the ask. You could just think of that as the selling side. On the left, we have the bid. You could just think of that as the buying side, just to make it super simple for you. And as you can see in this picture, the ask was filled with sell orders, while the bid was filled, or it wasn't quite filled. It had much less orders on the bid. So there was way significantly more orders on the ask on the selling side compared to the bid or the buying side. And you could see it was really stacked in the seller's favor. So whenever I see something like this, especially on this picture, it gives me a clear bias that I want to hop in short. And what I'll do is I'll hop in short and I'll ride that, very short-term move lower. So let's say that level 2 or that stock, after it has a really nice level 2, like in this case, there was, lots of selling that was happening. I short it, it drops 4 or 5 cents. I capture that 4 or 5 cents with high share size. So I'll go in with 10, 20, 30,000 shares. And if you have 20,000 shares and it drops 5 cents, that's $1,000, right? So if you're able to really execute this well, and you're able to read the level 2 and really precisely get in and out of that stock or, in that trade, then you can make an absolute killing. That's exactly what I did today. I actually felt like I should have made a lot more money. There was several different setups where I was actually undersized. I didn't have enough shares and I wasn't that aggressive. So I feel like today could have easily been like a $9,000 to $10,000 day if I literally was just a little bit more aggressive and I just share sized it, properly. But it's been a really slow market environment the last few months, so I was a little bit conservative today. Still made a nice, $5,500, but I felt like I could have actually done a lot better on this. But as you can see, in summary, I look at the daily chart, the higher time frames, establish what's going on. On the daily chart, we had a really nice bearish gap. Cool. That gives me a bias for what it's going to do during the day. Then I go to the lower time frames during the day, and I try to find a setup, either a breakdown or a retracement pattern, or I find a level 2 setup, which is the order book that we just talked about. And I try to get in, and I do most of my execution, or I did most of my execution for this stock off of that level 2 data, reading the order flow. So that's the full breakdown of my trade. Really amazing day. And looking forward to trading tomorrow. Hopefully NIO is super liquid and super volatile tomorrow as well, so I can hopefully replicate the day that I had today. And hopefully you found this helpful, and I'm going to make tons of more content regarding level 2, the order flow, regarding the setups that I play, how to identify really high quality gaps. So if you're interested in that, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.